Taylor Marshall, you come in here, you come into the Catholic Church, and you've been running your mouth talking about things like Freemasons and the Pachamama. Well, I'll tell you what, your mama better be praying for you if you get on the mat with me in any sanctioned arena across God's green earth. If you smell what this Novus Ordo is cooking. Woo!
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Craig and Jonah, Taylor Marshall. That's all. I'm just going to say Taylor Marshall.
Just to get that out there, I am just amazed at the reaction that that video provoked from the Taylor Marshall supporters.
Yeah.
You know, and I was reading through the comments, and the Michael Bowes guy is kind of interesting that he thinks we deleted a comment. If he wants to come on and talk to us about his comment that was supposedly deleted.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a subscriber now.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he'll definitely listen to this. So then another comment caught my attention, and it said,
so just so you know, we had a video kind of blow up. What was it, 210?
Yeah.
Episode
210.
It was a strange episode because it was I kind of led with a funny story about Taylor Marshall blocking me on Twitter. But it really wasn't meant to be. Like, that's kind of all it was.
It wasn't criticism of Taylor Marshall. Not necessarily. I mean, kind of poking fun at him. Yeah. Because it is really funny that a guy of his stature would block somebody over making a goofy joke. I mean, it shows that he's either really thin-skinned or he doesn't want any of his sheep to see that some guy can kind of poke at him a little bit.
It is funny. I don't know.
Because it affects his bottom line, the bottom dollar.
Sure seems that way. So anyway, so we totally unexpected. It was just kind of a random episode. We talked a little about Taylor Marshall. We talked about other stuff, but holy cow, did that get people's attention? So.
Yeah, and people came to the defense of Taylor Marshall, and then in the comments, somebody, and I'm sorry I can't quote you here, I wrote it down. They said, "I've been waiting for a while for him to challenge somebody to an MMA fight." And I wasn't sure if he was talking, I don't know if he's talking about us because we aren't aggressive. We're lovers, not fighters, you know. And so I'm assuming he's talking about Taylor Marshall challenging somebody to an MMA fight. And so I was thinking about that. And, you know, MMA isn't my thing. I really don't care for it. But one thing that I would possibly do is some sort of charity wrestling match. You know, like not pro wrestling, but like freestyle, folk style, Olympic style wrestling. I'd be up for that. You know, we have some of our listeners that like the show. They want to see who Jonah is. And so I thought that'd be a great, you know, way to unveil the actual Jonah.
Oh, I thought maybe you're going to wear a mask or something.
Well, I could go luchador style, but no, yeah. I think I don't know what would happen. And I would just think about it. But one condition that I would have for such a bout would be that we would have to cut pro wrestling style promos before the match. You know, something maybe like this. Taylor Marshall, you come in here, you come into the Catholic Church, and you've been running your mouth talking about things like Freemasons and the Pachamama. Well, I'll tell you what, your mama better be praying for you if you get on the mat with me in any sanctioned arena across God's green earth. If you smell what this Novus Ordo is cooking. Woo!
I am psyched.
Something like that. I thought that really get the crowd fired up, you know.
That was a nice little clip. That's gonna get circulated, and we're gonna send it directly to Taylor Marshall.
If he wants, I mean, and I have no idea, so I did look up because I don't want to.
Did you check him out to see if he?
So we're about the same height. You know, he's a little bit older than me, but not much. So it'd be a relatively fair wrestling match, I think. I don't know how much he weighs, but just based on his photos, we're probably similar enough in weight that I could cut to his weight, maybe.
Oh,
but I looked up too if he was an athlete, and I couldn't find anything. So if he was a national championship wrestler. And I get squashed like in a minute. I'm sorry, fans, but I tried my best. You know, I'd give it my best. I have no idea how I'd fare because I really don't know. And I haven't wrestled in like, 20 years. So.
You got the ice bath challenge you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I would be training like Rocky IV. You know, like maybe we'd get some footage of that beforehand to really psych people up for the fight. You know, not the fight, the wrestling match. But, you know, I'd be training, running up the hills and like swinging the log over my shoulder and, yeah.
What's the money going to go for then?
I think the winner would get to choose the charity, maybe.
Okay. He may want to know where we would put our winnings. Be a participant in evil or something like that. Like
No, it would go towards the
Nova
Catholic
sort of,
charity, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that his brand of Catholicism is different than the rest of us, so like it might be a little different, where the money would go.
Okay. Do we need to disclose that you're like Batman now?
No, not yet. We'll talk about that a
Okay.
different time.
All right.
But yeah, so I really thought that comment was pretty funny, and I don't know. I, I, I don't know. I was you start thinking about it if you could really, what would happen in that situation, and I'm not sure how I would fare, but I'd give it a good shot.
It'd be like what Mike Tyson versus Jake.
He-
Not sure which one's which.
I don't know.
I guess they're both pretty famous, and
Yeah,
Taylor's a little more famous than you are.
absolutely.
So
And that's fine. And
the underdog, it just seems
the underdog, and that's just like WrestleMania 40 that we just watched, and some of the guys in our Discord watched it. But
yeah.
Cody Rhodes had to take on the entire bloodline, to get the championship. And I'm not sure if Taylor Marshall would make me face off against like his version of the bloodline or not. The bloodline is the Rock's family, essentially.
Okay. This is all Greek to me.
It's a great storyline, but yeah.
Okay.
So
well, there you go, Taylor. We're throwing it out there. The gauntlet's been tossed down.
Yeah.
So if we don't hear from you, we'll assume you're just a big chicken.
Oh God. I have no ill will towards Taylor Marshall either. I think it's great that he brings people to pick a Catholic church. I just don't always agree with the division that he provokes sometimes, I guess.
Yeah,
because I think that people thought they were being critical of Taylor Marshall as like basically a leader within the church, but I don't know. I think you can be critical of anybody. I mean, it's not me necessarily. People are critical of me, which they clearly were in the comments, or can be sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take it personally.
Yeah, I have no, and I have no ill will to Taylor. I have no ill will to traditionalists. I have no like some of it is kind of fun to poke fun at. People should poke fun at us as well.
Absolutely.
We take it in good stride, I think.
And we're taking the most difficult position there is.
Yeah.
We're taking the middle ground.
Yeah.
Which we can get it from both sides.
Yeah, everyone hates us.
Yeah. It's true. And we're really just all about just discussing the struggles that we have with life and some of the rules, and just telling people to go to confession and trust in God's mercy. And I guess if that's the problem, if that's a problem for traditionalists, I don't know. It shouldn't be.
Well, before we wrap up Taylor Marshall, I want to hey, you know what? We're going to link to his show. We're going to link to his thing, but let me share this here, because I do want the record to reflect this.
Would it be something if he's like some superstar athlete,
and just keep moving around, wait for the clock to run.
Wear him down.
Wear him down. I want to show you guys. So for a couple of reasons here. Taylor is a bit of a heretic himself, like us, because he doesn't necessarily think God killed Onan.
So he agrees with us.
Spilling his seed. I mean, pretty much. Yeah, we're like indistinguishable, really. But it's so I do want to. This is an article he wrote back. I don't know. There's a date on it. But did God really kill Onan for spilling his seed or for something else? And he basically says, yeah, it was wrong to quote unquote contracept, but the bigger issue was his failure to follow the whatever law that said he had to give children to his brother's widow or whatever.
So he blocked somebody that agrees with him.
I don't know. Yeah,
man,
just don't pull out of this, there, Taylor. We don't want that. We don't want something to happen to you if you.
So. Well, yeah, like whatever happened to Onan there, huh?
Yeah. So, but I thought it was funny because someone gave us a hard time because our show isn't as nice and polished.
I saw that. And I'm like, he does it for a living.
Yeah, we're just a couple of dudes. We don't make any money off of this.
None.
Even if we tried, I don't think we'd make any money off of this.
And the thing is that you do have to wonder if the money did change his message or thoughts over time. Like he has to say certain things to pander to his audience. Whereas us, we just talk.
We just talk. And
we will always be authentic no matter what. I don't care if we make money eventually someday. It doesn't matter.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I'm not saying he's distorting his message for it, but I mean, just recognize that he is this is his career. This is his profession. Scroll. He's got books for sale along the side, newsletters. I mean,
And he's got a large family to feed.
I don't blame him. Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, good for him that he
for
can
him.
find a way to do it.
Yeah, but just
You have to think about that. It's something to consider.
just realize who his audience is, and you may be his audience. And again,
And if you are, pray for us too, and we will pray for you.
yeah. So
Because we have no ill will towards anybody or Taylor Marshall.
no. So until we get in the ring, then
You
gotta let that masculine.
For those 6 minutes, it's go time. But
yeah, you're gonna have to.
it'd be on the mat. We're not getting in a ring.
Man, God, that just shows you how little I watch this stuff.
Well, this would be amateur wrestling, not pro wrestling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
not going to go pro wrestling style.
You know, I was imagining you jumping off the.
No, for
like
goodness
that.
sakes, no, like high school style wrestling, or amateur style wrestling, or Olympic style.
You're gonna wear those little tight uniforms.
So I was thinking, was it too early to order a singlet with the Divine Mercy image on it? Maybe.
I don't think so. I think you want to get that before that run. You know,
Yeah, there'll be a run on them. Yeah,
stock runs out. So maybe that'll be in our merch store.
yeah.
Wrestling leotards or whatever.
Singlets.
Singlets, is that what they're?
Oh my goodness, Craig.
I did wrestle years ago, long time ago.
So then we can train together if this happens.
Yeah. I'll be running the camera and you can do whatever it is that you're gonna do.
Oh. Well,
So anyway, okay. Well, I don't know what the title will be. I mean, we gotta say something about Taylor Marshall.
I'm sure the thumbnail might be kind of funny.
Yeah. So this one could be kind of fun. He hasn't blocked us on Twitter yet. Well, he hasn't blocked our regular account on Twitter. I checked this morning. Speaking of Twitter, I wanted to. Can I show a few of our Twitter polls?
Oh yeah, of course. We got time. Yeah.
So if you're not on Twitter, you should go check us out on Twitter because that's a lot of fun. But
we have the best Catholic polls out there.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
That is for sure. And that may say more about the competition than us. But
that's true. We're just asking real questions.
Yeah. So anyway, let's see. Here we go. Okay. Here's our Twitter page. There's been a few polls in the last while that were kind of fun. This one just finished up. So the question was, assume you have to abstain for 12 days per month. What would be your top choice?
Oh, I didn't see this poll.
Oh, come on.
I didn't.
Well,
12 days straight, 27%.
That's like a priest or something. Those trads felt like they had to stand up.
Oh, just to suffer there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
6-day periods is an interesting choice because that's manageable. Like you can do that.
There must be, I don't know. People must like to be able to do like marathon weekends and stuff. It's been a long time since we tried that. So maybe I'm just reflecting my age. But there was a couple of people that would have picked 2 6-day periods, 7%, 3 4-day periods. That was kind of interesting. I could go either way.
Mm-hmm.
I think I picked 4 3-day periods because in a house of 9 kids, it's never happened.
That seems like that's
a
realistic approach. It keeps you kind of on the schedule. And
I made people vote on this one. I didn't let them just show results.
That's good. Well, that's maybe why you got the 12 days straight.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, you're gonna make me vote. I'm gonna.
We're just gonna abstain. Yeah. I don't know. I would go with either the 3 4-day periods or the 4 3-day periods.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's just it's funny because it's the same amount of abstaining per month, but it just depends on how big a chunk you're biting off.
Yeah, that 12 days straight. That's
I don't know.
It's a fair chunk.
I don't believe
that's the Iron Man competition right there.
Yeah, that maybe those are women.
Oh, it could be, or older folks too. Who knows?
Yeah. So okay, I want to show you another one. This one kind of got so if the church had never taken a position on whether masturbation is immoral and you were forced to give your own personal opinion on it, did you vote on this one?
No, I didn't see this one either. I've been kind of busy this week though. We'll talk about my issues next time.
Okay, all right. So This is so the church had not.
Gravely immoral, always 18% is interesting because
I don't believe
I don't know
that.
about that.
I don't believe anyone would come to that conclusion. But actually, I'm going to show. So I'm going to show another little toy here that I have for work, but we're going to use it.
Like chicken show results. That's
Yeah,
really good.
that's if you want to show
19%.
results, you're going to have to click on
I
it.
think that I would say can be wrong sometimes, as far as like with the way people look at things or think of things or whatever. I could see that.
This one could use some nuance, but that's not good for polls. Like I think it could be wrong if you're like using it in a lustful way, but lust is already a sin, and so I mean, I think. Well, I'm not going to say how I voted. Let's just say I didn't do the top one.
Yeah.
And the reason I did this is I want to show you something here quick.
Yeah, I mean, as far as being natural and harmless, I mean, other animals do it.
Yeah.
So it's not completely unnatural.
I mean, I get that we've all grown up being told, and the church says what it says. So I'm not saying the church is wrong, but I think if you just looked at nature and experience in the 21st century, I don't think you would come to this conclusion that it's gravely immoral all the time without, let's say, the church telling us that.
I would agree with that.
And anyone that strongly disagrees, I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to do an episode with you. I'm sure you've got Latin in your in your description.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
You can talk to us in Latin. We'll Google Translate.
Yeah.
Because I know you can't speak it.
Yeah. We'll one up you. I'm gonna learn Greek. So anyway, okay, so let me go one more and then I'm gonna go flip back to the catechism. So sorry, there was making fun of Taylor. Okay. This one I thought was interesting, and this one actually got some people angry at me. So the question is, assuming these were all morally licit, and I get it, people are not, but which would you take? Number one, the conjugal act 1 times per week for the rest of your life. Nothing else, just that once a week.
Sure.
Rest of your life, week in and week out, whether you want it or not. Number two, the conjugal act 1 time every other week and up to 2 other acts per week. Or number 3, conjugal act 1 time per month and other acts as often as you want. 2 and 3 seem really close to me in terms like this one surprised me.
This is actually a really tricky question. Because 1 time per week, the conjugal act, you could do that. Like I think most healthy people could possibly figure that out, other than with natural family planning. Like that's the biggest issue there. But I mean, you could reasonably do that. So that's a fine answer for the 32%. And maybe those are all over menopause age. You know,
I would think you'd want to do it more than once a week, though, if you're not having to. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. You would think so.
I mean, this is your imagination here. This is you get to pick your own adventure here. I was surprised that 32%. Well,
I think the conjugal act once a week with option number 2 seems reasonable.
I thought about making it like 10 days. Stretch it out a little bit. I'm going to run this poll again. But I was surprised how many people picked and I suspect perhaps that for a fair number of people that seems like a significant upgrade already to where they're at. Maybe
the 4th option, instead of I'm a chicken, show results, should just be we never have sex. Like, no, but I really want to see how many people are like that, because statistically it's like a quarter of marriages are sexless. It's like 15 to 25%. So I would really like to know.
But this is assuming you get to have that. You don't have. I mean,
and this is what you want.
Yeah,
but there are probably some people that want that. Just to maybe suffer. They don't like their spouse. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons why people don't have sex.
The St. Augustine wannabes.
Yeah,
maybe. So someone in the comment, I'm not going to scroll down, gave me a hard time about this because I was, advocating mortal sin. I'm like, when I said, well, like I said, assuming it's all morally licit, but people get very uncomfortable with that, and I get that. But this is a really good segue. I want to shift. I want to show something real quick here, more so on the masturbation question, but I wanted to
Oh man, you got some gear here.
We're pimping it out, Taylor Marshall. We're coming for you.
We're actually getting some technology here. This is nice.
Yeah. So let me do something here. All right. Our old catechism. Got our tabs to the couple of sections that matter. So 2352, and this is why I thought it was interesting. And I actually want to do a more of an in-depth episode on this. But if so 2352, both the magisterium of the church, okay, in the course of constant tradition. Whoops. Sorry, guys. Still learning this. And the moral sense of the faithful have been in no doubt and have firmly maintained that masturbation is an intrinsically and gravely disordered action. So, I don't know when they took that poll or how they polled people, but to the extent that they claim that this teaching is validated by the fact that all the people agree that it's wrong, I think at a bare minimum, we ought to be able to ask, what is our own personal feelings? Because that's what they're saying there.
That's true, and especially since it wasn't an official church teaching before 1054.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I think that this should give us, I mean, it's clear to me that at least in this area, the church seems to be invoking the sensibilities of people or suggesting that
Oh,
sensibilities of people support it or validate it. That I think that's a very interesting explanation rather than let us show you theologically or philosophically why
that's true.
something is
That's the
wrong.
reason. You're right.
Yeah.
Man,
I'd like them
that's
to
an
do a
interesting
new
thought.
poll. Yeah, like maybe I can send them our Twitter poll.
We have some new data.
With new data. We're gonna poll all the Catholics in the world.
All 2 billion.
All 2 billion. So I just thought that was I thought that I just think that's a very interesting statement.
Justification. That is really interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
They do have a citation there. Do you know what that is about?
which one? The
The
137?
137.
So it's Persona Humana, which is is that one of the documents in Second Vatican Council? CDF. Sorry, I don't
Because
know.
we'll have to look that up and see what it actually says.
I think I have, and it's not helpful.
Okay.
It doesn't really. So anyway, so that's I think that's an interesting observation, and I think it's interesting to test people's opinions. And I think if you ran this opinion or this kind of a poll, I don't think the majority of people, certainly not unanimously or anything close to unanimous, would say it's gravely disordered.
It's true.
Other than because we've been
told that.
Told to believe that, right?
I would agree with that, actually. Yeah.
So anyway.
Well, that's interesting.
Well,
this is quite the episode. We agreed with Taylor Marshall.
Yeah.
And we discussed a charity event.
I bet we don't get near the traffic when we agree with Taylor Marshall, but we'll see.
We'll see about that.
The headline is going to be important here.
Yeah.
So,
and
anyway.
I don't think anybody, over the age of 8 really takes wrestling promos seriously, but we'll see what the comments are like for this one.
All right. Very good. As we get closer, we'll get one of those, remember the pinup picture from the league? We'll get Jonah in his singlet.
Yep.
And we'll just keep pulling a piece back as we get closer or get so many dollars come in or whatever, and you guys can enjoy that.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
We'll get lots of views over that. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Jonah. Better start working out.
Oh, I'm training.
Because it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. Thanks everyone for listening. Until next time, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good one.